I don't know when we're live.
We are live.
We are live. I don't see it over here, but I guess there's some kind
I
of delay.
haven't got there yet, but this is going to end up over there.
Bruce Culchin. Good evening.
Good evening, Bruce.
I think you can hear us.
We're live. Welcome, everyone. I am Kim of Kim Fixes Things, and this is Buff Del Campo of the Buff Del Campo channel. And we are here this evening to talk to you, answer your questions, and discuss our hobbies and interests, and talk about whatever comes to mind, whatever's interesting. Was that a 3-deuce intake from a 63-406?
Almost. Mexican Spec. Good evening. Yeah, that was actually a 3-deuce setup for, it's a Ford intake manifold, and I believe they came on 61 Ford 390s and 62 Ford 306 or 406s, and by 63 they had the 427 with the dual quads. I don't think they ever put that manifold on the 63s. Man, I almost bought a 63
Nice
Ford.
man, you're just in time. Welcome to the stream.
Ari!
Ari's here. Hi, Ari.
How you doing? Man, we've been missing you.
Hey, we covered for you on Sunday night.
We did the Sunday night thing.
We had a great time. That was a lot. We went for like 3 hours.
We went
like lots of people, and we had a good time.
I think we went 3.5 hours, something like that. So, anyway, I had one of those manifolds, and I think I had it on a 57 Ford with a 390 or a 406. We used to take 390s and bore them 80,000.
I don't even know where that picture is. Go ahead, keep talking.
We used to take 390s, the early ones, bore them 80,000s, use 406 pistons in them, and the heads were always off 332 or 352 police interceptor engines, and we'd do that. We'd have 205 pounds of compression, and it was, and then I had one of those with that manifold in a 57 Ford two-door wagon, but I took it off. It was always hard to make everything work right and drive it on the street. So, yeah, that thing.
Whoa, sorry, it's over our faces.
It's over our faces.
There it is.
Yeah, that's the one I put on the thumbnail. So mine was glass beaded. It looked new. Rebuilt the 3 carburetors. I had the air cleaner with the Thunderbird on the air, that big oval air cleaner, and I had it set in my living room on a coffee table for a while. Looked brand new. And I think I sold it to somebody for $300, which at the time was a lot of money. You could buy a whole car for $300 then. You know, older ones.
They convinced you. I don't think they would.
I'm got out of work at a decent hour for once, so I can partake. Hey, that's good. It's 5 o'clock out there, I guess.
Oh, that's right. Where's your hat?
Oh, my hat. That's what I'm missing. Man, we're in a hurry. I didn't know Buff's hat was detachable.
Believe it or not, the top of his head is just shaped like a normal person's head.
Something's missing. I gotta go get my hat.
Go ahead and get it.
I can't be here without a hat.
I'll hold down the stream.
I look like I don't know what I look like.
I got them all in a flurry, trying to get everything. I'm glad to hear that your Apache is running well. That is a beautiful truck. Beautiful. I'm envious. Yes, so... and he never leaves the house without a hat, and honestly, he pretty much... I've seen him go to bed with the hat on, so it's pretty... Sponsored by Duluth. I swear we should get a sponsorship because he has every color up in the row on every Duluth. And he has backup shirts. See, okay. He's wearing an old one, but he has new ones to replace these ones in case, like, he's got them 3 deep in each color so that, he can wear one to the shop, he can wear one to, like, church.
I have a lot
or the doctor,
of hats.
or go out.
I probably have.
I was talking about your Duluth. Somebody said we should have a Duluth sponsorship.
So what hat is this? This is one that doesn't fit.
I've never seen you wear that hat before.
It's too tight.
Who is this person?
It is too tight. This one is from a place I worked in Oregon, which is Pendleton UAS, which is Unmanned Aerial Systems UAS range in Oregon. where I worked, which is where a lot of stuff. You know who's there? There's all kinds of people there testing unmanned aircraft, but the main one that's there is Amazon. Watching their weird stuff. This is the one I always wear everywhere, but I think because it's got some green in it, it may. I don't know. I kind of like that hat.
It does okay. I guess it's grayer than
and
it's
this
green.
one, I've been wearing this one lately.
You can see through it in just a couple spots.
Because this is my Mexican hat. Not because it's a. What are you pushing me
I want to
for?
see if you can see through it, right?
Oh,
So you can see through
oh
it.
yeah, you can see through it, right? Where that's kind of weird, isn't it? So this is the one from Algodones, which is in the northern part of Baja California, and this is my old standby Air Force hat that can I see through this one at all? I wear this one a lot. What am I?
A 1405 Edelbrook, isn't it
Okay,
a 4150?
So what are we looking at here? I'm going to swap my Q-Jet for an Edelbrock 1405 soon whenever I work up the gumption to do the work. Okay. Man, Iceman, I'm glad you caught me without a hat, because I can't sit here without a hat. I knew something was missing. As long as I got my pants on, I guess. You know what happened? It was getting late. And I had to get something. I hadn't eaten like in hours and hours and hours. I had to get something to eat in a hurry. I sat there eating, and Kim's going, got 2 minutes or something. And I'm like, finish eating. And I ran out here.
Pants! You need pants!
And I ran out here and forgot my hat. Let's see. I understand.
Oh, your beverage is crystal clear.
Oh, yeah, I have.
I could see grass.
You could see through my green drink, which is, Kim bought this for me. My San Pellegrino.
Fizzy water.
Fizzy water, yeah. Pretty good stuff.
How's everybody doing tonight? We've got a couple people in. It's a small group so far. I'm glad everyone who was able to make it.
So we can talk about that thumbnail or anything. Pants are optional except on Tony's live. Oh, geez.
When you're sitting in front of a table, can anyone really tell what you're wearing?
I watched Johnny Carson all those years. And I don't know, maybe he had pants on.
Yeah, what color were his pants?
He stood up sometimes. He always stood up, shook hands with everybody. I don't know. What are we going to talk about? Okay, we've got that manifold up there. I guess we could.
Oh, let's go to the dyno room and discuss Ari's Quadrajet to Edelbrook conversion.
Yeah, Ari, tell us about this.
Yeah, how many horsepowers will that make? The dyno
so
powers.
I don't even know what that is. Edelbrock 1405. You could just look that up, Kim. And see
I think I'm going to, because I've never heard of it, that particular.
So, Ari, how's your work? What do you do at work? You're working on prototype stuff, or what do you do? It's really interesting. I'm not much of an electric car person, but I am a prototype and manufacturing kind of guy. So I find all that kind of stuff really interesting. When I first started looking for cars here, I found a 63 Galaxy 500 convertible with a 406 tri-power in red. Wow, you see, now that I almost bought a 63 Galaxy 500 convertible. It was black with a black interior. It had a 427, had dual quads on it. Man, I wanted that car, but I was 16, and I had a 64 Ford. And my father, he had the final word on everything then. He goes, why do you want an older car? I couldn't tell him because it has a 427 and dual quads and a 4-speed, because then it would have been the end. So I ended up not getting that car. I am basically the CEO. Harry, you better put your tie on. I don't know, CEOs wear ties anymore. Probably wear t-shirts.
Wait, what's he the CEO of? I missed something.
Oh, well, I was thinking it was Rivian. But maybe he's the CEO of a new company of his own. I don't know.
Maybe they're doing something for another company as like a subcontract?
I cannot read that. 1405. I am in the way of whatever it says.
Oh,
so that's
okay.
the Edelbrock you're going to use. You could make us smaller. bought a lot of cars from the time I was 15 and a half, and I never asked my dad for anything. Well, I tried that, but my father was. It wasn't asked. It was like, I remember I bought a '56 Ford, didn't have an engine in it. He looked in there and he goes, "I think something's missing," and he wasn't real happy about it. Let's see here. I joke, I build prototype chassis on the miniature version of Rivian's production line. See, I thought the production line was out in the Midwest somewhere, but maybe they have one in the San Diego area as well. I don't know. So there's your carburetor. That's probably a good carburetor. 600 CFM.
That looks like the one that we have in the garage that came off of that Dodge.
It could be. I had my.
I got a 318 and it had an Edinburgh on it, and I think that's about what it is. Is that like the standard kind of thing you'd get off a parts store shelf? Like if they had up there as the display, like, look how pretty we have a carburetor.
My Carter AFB looked about like that, and it was a 625. But okay, let's see. I joke about. Okay, remember the line, and Christine or Arnie says, "You need your parents' permission to register the car." No, you didn't. I walked into the motor vehicle department and I did everything myself. The only time I needed permission was when I first got my learner's permit or driver's license or something. I had to my father there. Yeah, the production cars are built in Normal, Illinois. Yeah, that's what I thought. They were back there. I think the Rivian's a good-looking truck. And, God, who just did a piece on the SUV? There's some guy driving an electric car around, and he was having all kinds of trouble charging it. Not because of
I watched that.
Not because of the car, because of all
just finding locations.
Yeah, all the people
that
waiting.
weren't too busy, and that they charge at different speeds depending on which charger you're at.
He was driving a Rivian, the SUV. It's a pretty good looking thing. But I don't know. There's something about, I don't know. I'm just not gonna.
I really think that electric cars could have their place. That they could be really useful if you're not in a climate where there's a lot of cold, where you're not in a place where there's a lot of flooding, where you're in a place where there's lots of chargers. Those kinds of places could probably be great. You probably wouldn't care.
Yeah, I'm reading and I'm listening to what you're saying.
I just paid my car insurance today. It was about $400 for a year.
For what? For the Dart?
No, that's for the van.
Oh, for the van. Okay, because the Dart's a special.
The Dart, I have insurance through like Haggerty.
Haggerty, yeah.
And it's just like classic car insurance, and they assume that it mostly never goes anywhere, and it doesn't. I mean, I have driven it. I drove it home from Murfreesboro when I got it, and it hasn't moved anywhere out of the yard since then. I'm gonna have to make it run. Actually, I have parts on the way.
Home Drive. Hello, how you doing? Let's see here. They're
Money tree! Whoop, 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 whoop. We plucked every leaf off that bright green Chevy money tree.
Oh.
Every leaf.
See here. I went back here somewhere. The other production cars built normal. I saw something I wanted to comment on, and now I've lost where it is. Where is it? Oh. I don't know.
Well, I'm going to talk about me then.
Well.
So, speaking of money trees, usually we only buy new things. Well, it is tax season, and if you are dealing with the general public, a lot of people who are getting their refunds, if they need a car, or if they're looking to update a car or whatever, they will have cash. And when you are selling a car and you cannot finance someone because that is not the business that you're in, if you're selling a private vehicle, a good time to sell was about a month ago. Well, I listed my Chevy Sonic. It was a 2015, and it was a pretty darn good car. I just didn't need it because I use my van and we have other things. So we did pluck the leaves from that bright green money tree, and I now have I can now pay all the bills that I owed, which is nice because then I can spend more money that I don't have on parts instead of having another vehicle, another mouth to feed. I have converted that into capital to reinvest in the vehicles that we have. So for my car, where's your screen? I'm going to put it on there. Well, my car, one of these, my car here She needs a ignition system because we robbed the points distributor. So I was able to order some parts, and we will be able to have some fire in her again. And there was nothing stopping her from running, although that tire there is flat to the ground because, believe it or not, the little thing that you stick air in
I went out there.
Dry rotted and broke off. So the tire's flat.
I dragged a compressor out there and I started putting air in it, and it's not going in because the valve stem's got a crack in it. Let's see here. Go back. Let's see. I'm trying to find my place. I want a money tree. Oh, Danny Boyd. Hey, Dan, did you see the thumbnail that I put up? I was thinking of you when I put that thumbnail up. So, you want to put it back up again? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
This one?
That one.
Okay.
Yeah, it's Ford stuff, so I was thinking about you when I put that up there. I had one of those in many, many years ago on a 406 Ford, a 390 that we made 406s out of. And then I had it all glass beaded and the rebuilt carburetors, had it on my coffee table in an apartment where I lived, and I ended up selling it. Oh, why did I sell stuff like that?
We didn't sell the Subaru yet. It's listed for sale, but we didn't get. I haven't really got any good offers yet. I've been bouncing off trades with people, but I'm not going to give it away. I just rebuilt the freaking both cylinder heads of the motor and everything, and it's running really great. I think I should be able to trade it for something that also runs, or something that's a step up if it doesn't run. I haven't got any.
That Subaru is such a nice car. The body looks good. It's detailed out nice. It
got
drives
good tires
nice.
and brakes.
I told her
runs good.
I told her just keep it. But
what am I gonna do with it? I don't go anywhere.
Yeah, I suppose. Okay, what is this here? As far as a car goes, I was hung up on using a quarter jet since the Alfie 360 intake I have is made for one. Oh, okay, you got spread bore manifold. I don't know why I was so opposed to an adapter plate. Yeah, I used to be opposed to adapter plates, but I've used a few of them. They're okay. And, of course, you could, Holly made a spread bore.
Just take your time with the adapter plate. Make sure, if you have... make sure you're using the right hardware so everything seals and you're not like... What's that? That one that we put on the Super 6 to adapt to the Ford carburetor?
Yeah, but all the holes are all the same size on that. That's just making the mounting.
But they were wallowed out weird and stuff like that, so...
Yeah, he's talking about, you know what a spread bore looks like compared to the regular Holly pattern? It kind of changes that.
Yeah.
So, but, I mean, it'll work.
They make a riser one that works. Right?
Or use a thermoquad or a spread bore Holly. But I don't know, it'd probably work fine. What you're planning on doing. Okay, let's see. What did Danny Boyd say? He said something. I thought he said something else back there. Oh, yeah, something about this thing's getting way ahead of me. The 406. Yeah, I used to take, I had friends, we all did this, took the early 390s, and you could bore them 80 thousandths, no problem. Then the 406 pistons fit in them. They were 406 cubic inches, but they still had a cast iron crank in them, but that really didn't make any difference. We used heads, always found heads off 332 or 352, like 1958 or 59 Ford Police Interceptor engines. We put those on there, and then we'd use one of these manifolds, or we'd put a 4-barrel manifold on it. But we'd get 205 pounds of compression, so you had to be a little careful with the timing and run good gas. But man, yeah, they were 406s. And that's what that original that manifold came off of either a 390 from 1961 or a 406 from 62, or as Mexican Spec says, I don't know, when did he get his? He said he had a 63 with a 406, so maybe they did that early in 63. They probably did, because I remember looking at that 63 I wanted. It had a 427 and dual quads on it. It was original. It's kind of worn out, but man, it smoked a little bit. It was fast. The night I test drove that thing, I raced a guy up through the middle of San Luis Obispo, and I beat him by a pretty good stretch. And he was in a 69 GTX, and he pulled up next to us, and the owner of the car was sitting in the passenger side. And he looks over at us. He goes, "What do you got in that thing?" And the guy says, "It's a 427, but it isn't running very good." And the guy in the GTX goes, It isn't running very good," because I just ran away from him. And the GTX was no slouch, you know. So it was a fun car. You ought to take the Dart I have. Ari, when are you gonna you could put that engine in there. That'd be a nice car.
Is it a 4-door or 2-door, Ari?
Let's see here. I think I saw pictures of it. Used carburetors always make an apartment smell good. Oh, Dan, my used carburetors, those had been soaked real well in that old McKay's parts cleaner. I think it was McKay's parts dip, the stuff that worked real well, cleaned all up. And the manifold was glass beaded. It had no smell to it. It had a brand new air cleaner element, and it had the nice aluminum air cleaner top. It had also been glass beaded. It had the Thunderbird emblem on it. That thing looked it just looked perfectly new, and sat there on a coffee table. Yeah, and I was probably like 23 or something. So that was perfect living room decorations. You know what doesn't smell good is when you're 16 or 17, you rebuild a carburetor in the sink in the bathroom with McKay's parts dip, and then your mother comes in and goes, "What are those fumes?"
You know what though? When mom does her own perm in the kitchen sink, it doesn't smell all that hot either. So like,
well, when my parents weren't home, I took apart a 292 Ford, and all the pieces that would fit in the dishwasher, I ran them in the dishwasher. I had all push rods were all in silverware trays and had valves. I had all kinds of parts in there and ran it. It cleaned everything. In fact, anything that
in the dishwasher.
Anything that was iron rusted a little bit.
Did your mother kill you?
Oh, they were not happy.
Oh, I can't imagine why.
Well, what happened was I took it all out.
I'll be right back. You tell them the story.
Before my parents got home, I took all the stuff out of the dishwasher, and it had a pretty funny smell in there. So I ran the dishwasher load with dishwasher soap in it, just empty with no dishes, no engine parts. It still had a little bit of a smell, so I ran a second load with just soap in it. And when my parents came home, my dad noticed the smell. And he knew something happened. Yeah, 406 was top dog till the 427 came out. Yeah, I like those engines. And the other thing I had was a set of those, they were cast iron manifolds. The 406s were kind of short, and the 427 manifolds went way down by the bell housing. They were huge, like headers, and they were cast iron. And I had a set of those on a 61 Starliner. Shouldn't have sold that car either.
Maybe we should do that. Maybe we should go on Marketplace and find ourselves an old dishwasher and set it up on the outside as a parts washer.
I said that to you one time, and you thought I was crazy.
I mean, it would be nice. They have spins at the top and the bottom, all kind of jets and pumps and stuff.
Oh, and if we weren't going to run dishes in it, we could put hot tank solution in it.
Yeah, and we could have instead of it discharging into the drain, we could have discharged into a waste container, and we could recycle the stuff until it's bad.
Ari says it's a 4-door 170. Oh, that's really cool.
Oh,
wait a minute. Cool. Your engine's a 225, isn't it? Oh, maybe it's a 170.
Oh, they made a thing.
Oh, it's a 170. That car is a 170.
Isn't that a trim level?
Yeah, I forgot about that. Okay, but the 405 seems like a solid contrast, to the Quadrajet. It's easier to service and find. I had it was before Edelbrock had carburetors, but a Carter AFB, and I just bolted it on my 351 Windsor, and I think I just drove it the way it was, and I think all I ever said on it was the idle. I messed the idle a little bit, but I drove that car for 125,000 miles. Never touched that carburetor. It was wonderful.
What is
basically the same thing.
RA 30 over, 40 over to get 230.2?
Oh,
I didn't do any math.
It's I have a spreadsheet on my other computer that has cubic inches for everything, for bore and all the changing bores and strokes. 225. That's probably like 30 or 40 over or something. What's recirc?
Recirculation. We were talking about making a parts washer.
Oh, yeah. You know what hot tank solution is? It's the same stuff. It's like Drano. It's
Okay.
what is that stuff?
Lie.
Yeah, it's lye, but there's a name for that. Okay, it's 40 over. Yeah, the next slant we do, we're gonna have to bore it. I think I bought the very last set of standard pistons I could find, and I looked really hard for them. There might be a stash of them somewhere, but bought standard bore pistons, and ruined one of them. So I bought one more, but there were no more sets, and there was one of the same brand available from where we put the pistons. Where's the place we buy all the car parts?
Didn't we get those ones from through Rock Auto?
Rock Auto, yeah.
Oh yeah, and we
And
were trying to put the piston pin in, and we're heating up the rods, the pin end of the rods, with a torch, and then sticking them in and dropping the pin through, and then lining them up by hand to the center of the piston. The problem is if you let that cool, then it was really tough to get it warm enough. So then we put it in the press. We did one wrong. It was offset too far. So we tried to put it in the press and push through with a cup on the back of the piston, but the cup still tweaked that piston enough that it was out of round. And
I ruined a piston. Yeah, people call it caustic soda. What is it?
I told him to do it. I made him ruin it.
Well, then if
he
you
blames
go back,
himself.
If you go back my very first video, I made a thing to go in the press to put to
solve that whole problem.
Hold the rod instead of the piston, and so you can go back and look at that.
And then we used it. It worked great. That's how we fixed everything and adjusted things. And
what is that stuff called? Because I bought it so much.
I'll Google search for it.
Yeah, just look up Drano and see what the chemical is. Yeah, I used to buy, like, I don't know what size those drums were, 25-gallon drums, those big, well, they're not the big 55-gallon drums, they're the smaller drums. I used to buy it.
Methylethyl chloride?
No.
That's what it said. Ammonium sulfate? Ammonium parasulfate.
How about sodium hydroxide?
Sodium hydroxide.
Sodium hydroxide, I think, is what that is. So we could, I don't think that'll hurt a dishwasher because it's lye. I mean, that would be kind of cool, have a dishwasher up at the shop, and we have to put water up there.
Yeah, well, we
man, and you'd have to run hot water in it because it doesn't work well with cold water. But I had a hot tank. I had a couple of hot tanks. And man, I can't believe that yeah, that's it, sodium hydroxide. I can't believe I don't have a hot tank anymore. So much of my life I had a hot tank.
You know what, too? Most of those dishwashers have a heating element in them.
I had a decent set of stock slant 6 lugs. In case you need them. Are they new or what? You know, I don't have another slant 6 right now, but
we don't have one with a stock bore either. I don't know what's in
Oh, you got
mine.
one. You got one, but you don't know what it is. Yeah.
Yeah, I've never
been
looked.
into it. It's an old engine. I expect it's probably standard. How long do you think the dishwasher would last using that solution? You know, it's lye. I don't know. I don't think there's anything in there that would hurt.
Dishwashing solution is pretty caustic stuff to begin with.
But
so it's resistant to a lot of chemicals.
You know what it hurts? Aluminum. It'll dissolve aluminum in minutes.
No, they're usually plastic or stainless.
So I don't know if there's any aluminum in the dishwasher.
No, I've had them apart. They're plastic or stainless. The only thing I could think might have a problem with it is like the O-rings on the motor, and then there's a flapper valve to let the motor, to let the water discharge, and a rubber discharge hose. So they would have to be resistant to sodium hydroxide, but
it's the same thing you use in Drano. Drano, that's what Drano is.
Well, Drano will dissolve a rubber pipe, so...
Will it? Oh, you're the plumber.
If you use it over and over again on it, yeah.
She's actually a certified plumber.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and then, I don't know what dishwasher's detergent is. That stuff might actually take
I don't think it would croak right away, Mexican spec. I think eventually it might start to leak. You might burn out one of the O-rings or something like that. But then you could upgrade it with something that was more resistant to the stuff and then continue to use it. Because it has a plastic or stainless inside that's already resistant. Inside the wash
washer,
area, it has
it's
rubber plastic.
covered metal for the racks. Yeah, it does. Yeah, it does.
Yeah, and if the
we
coating
have
on those is messed up, they'll rust with just dishwasher stuff.
Well,
But they do make stainless steel ones, so
And we-
we've shopped around.
Someone
take all
the.
All right, we're on our way. All right, road trip. I don't think my trailer would make the trip.
Oh, yeah.
I wouldn't feel comfortable putting a car on it and driving it all the way across the country.
I thought I was going to go out to Yuma last month to do some flight testing, and then they didn't want me. They said, we don't need you. So, that was my whole trip that we were going to go to San Diego and Yuma and all that, and somebody else was going to pay for it. Now we got to go out there on our own.
So if you think about it, what would we have to do? We'd probably have to get, at minimum, we'd have to get a spare tire for the trailer.
Well,
I think we need to get
10 spare tires for the trailer.
I think that we would need to get 2 spare, like replace one tire and get a spare for along the way for the trailer, and then for a Dart, because it's not a super heavy car. Only 4,000 miles. Yeah.
Not finish the project. What did he say it was? Did he say it was a 4-door Dart? 4-door. Can you scroll? I can't scroll that back.
It said it's a 4-door Dart 170.
Yeah, okay. Then you scroll back. 4-door 170, okay. It's only
Hey,
a
you're
4,000
busy. That's how it
4,000
goes
trip.
sometimes.
That's nothing. You know what? Expect I drove that to actually to Yuma to here, which is 1850. I drove that back and forth. I lost count of how many times. And sometimes in some really sketchy vehicles, and sometimes in some good stuff. But I can almost do that without
What if we
looking
drove
at the road.
What if we drove out in your car, put the engine in, got it running, and then drove them both back?
Drove out there in my car. Which car?
Your regular car.
I have irregular cars and regular cars.
Yes, you do.
My regular car. You mean the Mazda?
Oh, if we went in the Valiant, that would be one heck of a trek for the YouTube.
Well, I think the thing to do would be to take
Do
your
it for the vine.
Take your van and a trailer.
I know, but that's like a lot of
like
real
he says,
estate to haul across
Like he
the
says,
country.
it's a 4,000-mile trip. Well, by the time Yuma's 1850, and then over to San Diego's, that's the highest you're going to go through that mountain pass over there to San Diego, but it's not bad. And that's probably he's probably right. That's another 150 miles. Yeah, it'd take me about 3 hours to get there from Yuma. So it's 2,000 miles from here to San Diego. And some driving around there and then back. Yeah, we probably have 4,500 miles in it.
How much do you think we just have in fuel?
I don't know. Like my car's really easy on fuel.
Well, yeah, but dragging
van-
a trailer the whole way there behind my van is a little.
My van would get 19 until I put the trailer behind it, had it loaded, and then it'd get about 14. So yeah, my van's probably very similar.
I'll bet you it'd get 17 pulling the trailer with nothing on.
With nothing on it.
And then, bringing the car back.
I
How far is it from running, Ari? What's the holdup?
What's this? What are you asking? Ari, I lost what you're asking
I'm
about.
curious with Ari. What's keeping him from putting the motor into his car? Like, is there a bunch of details that are incomplete? Or is the motor, assembled and ready to drop in and he just can't find a time to even look at it? Because I know he got it stranded working on his truck. So
He's in Orange County. I thought he was down near San Diego. You know where Orange County is? You know where Los Angeles is? Los Angeles. Orange County's down here, just below Los Angeles. Then there's some other stuff.
I'll bring up
San
a
Diego.
map. I'll bring up a map.
You know where Disneyland is? That's Orange County. Okay, I have a guy from your town trying to buy a 75 Super Beat, but it can't be registered in California. Why? Why can't you register it in California? Was it originally an American car? I'm the holdup. The engine is in the cars. Well, see, Ari, I remember you were driving this 6-cylinder truck around, and then a week later you're driving a V8 truck around, same truck, so I know you know how to do it. It's Orange County. See,
Oh, I
Anaheim.
see. It doesn't even look like an orange, but it is colored orange.
Well, if you look at the state map that's next door to that, see the state map is over there. You see that, Kim?
What?
You could see the state map is over there. You
Uh-huh.
can move that over, and then you can get
This
a
one?
yeah, you can get a real good clear idea.
Oh, it's trying to sell me something. I just want images.
Just drag it over there. Oh,
Not now.
it didn't do what I thought it was going to do. Yeah, can you zoom in on that? I don't know.
Just trying to sell me things. I can't help it.
Okay, well, anyway, it's just south of Los Angeles. But if California does not allow Mexico to be smogged there without a huge amount. I didn't know you'd have to smog it. It originally doesn't need any smog in Mexico. They make you add shit to it. Those evil bastards. Don't do anything in California. Ah, you're right. Do it in Texas. Do it some other place. Do it here. You know what they make you do in Tennessee? Walk in and pay the $20 or whatever it is. It's like $100 now, but you don't have to. They don't even look at the car. Westminster is where the Dart is. Westminster is where the Dart is. I don't know exactly where that is. Of the pan or the mounts, I assume the pan, but the replacement pan I have looks about the same. You might have to get some sheet metal, weld something, I don't know. Post 1974 needs smog, and it's a 75. Oh.
Oh, yeah, that car had a catalytic
See-
converter on it from the factory, so they'll make
California.
you put it back.
California.
Back
Put
to
it-
75!
But it was a Mexican car. It never had a.
Yeah, but it's back to 75?
Oh, that's
50-year-old car still needs to meet
The
models.
75 car would have to comply with California emissions, not just 48 state emissions. It's an original gorgeous car. It needs to. Yeah.
Yep.
It's
So
terrible.
now-
California bunch of assholes.
Hey,
run
that's
that state.
on them. The car will go somewhere
Bunch
else.
of assholes run that state.
Easy.
Well,
we love
see,
California. It's a
No.
wonderful place.
California-
Everyone there is nice. There's no problems.
Geographically, it's a nice place.
Lovely, yes.
Just hang on. Geographically, it's a nice place. Politically, it's just doesn't get any worse.
We have not said that they are woke, or that they have brain dead to the. We have
I'm-
not said anything bad about them. We do not agree with any
I moved away.
statements about their foolishness of chasing EV technology or.
I moved away from there, and I walked into a gun store for something, and it's like, look at this. They got all good stuff. There's all these AKs and AR-15s and like all these rifles I'd never even seen in California. It's like, oh man, look at this. It's like that everywhere except California.
Ari, I don't see dimple in the. So the older cars. What year did he say his car is? He just said it's a 4-door 170.
Yeah.
The older cars did have a. It's a center sump, right? The older cars had a little bit bigger center sump. The newer cars, it was a little bit further back. So is it hitting the is that hitting the cross member?
64. It's the same as that. That's a
64.
66. But the 64 5 and 6
That's a motor mount problem then. Can the
so?
can the engine go back towards the firewall more, but the mounts don't line up? Because I think you probably have the wrong mounts on that car.
Or there's mounts or maybe the wrong pan. I don't know.
I mean, there are other pans, but the
pan and mounts. I assume the pan, but the replacement pan I have looks about the same.
Yeah.
Oh, about the same. It might not be the same.
and you can't just beat on it because there's a pickup tube in there. You got to make sure you're not banging on the pickup tube trying to.
So the replacement pan is for a 64 as well, I guess. I don't know.
I could take photographs and measurements under my car, and we could see maybe we could help you figure out the alignment of it if you want to work on it. It seems like he's trying to get out of it.
Just make it electric.
It's just we're just spitballing here. I can't solve your problems from this far away. And I mean, fuel-wise, the cost of the trip right now is not really very feasible. Plus, if we came all the way out there,
see that the front shallow portion of the pan rests on the K member.
the shallow portion,
So something.
the motor mounts are wrong then, because it should sit up. It should sit
How
up.
much? How much interference? I mean, just touches or electric dart? Yeah, electric dart.
Where did the mounts come from, Ari?
Well, he could maybe just shim them up, or yeah, I don't know. I'd be like looking into all that. But of course he's
64,
busy.
they didn't have a 273, did they? Like it's definitely gonna be the K member's definitely gonna be for slant 6, right?
What engines do they have in? See, the new Dart came out in 63, and 64 is almost the same.
Mm-hmm.
And then 65 and 6 is basically the same, but they looked a little different. Man, I don't know. What did they have V8s in those? 68 A100 van. What came out of an A100? They had a solid axle across the front.
Yeah, it's the wrong motor mounts.
Or, oh, so the mounts came with the engine?
Yeah, they're bolted onto the side of the block.
No. I mean,
The legs that come off.
Not the rubber part. The brackets is what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. Yeah, they could be. Yeah, you might have to get the ones for the Dart. We could take pictures of yours and send them to them and see if they're the same. If they're
Well,
not.
we're discussing it now, so I'm just see if I can bring up a picture easy.
60. So what happened to the A100 van? there's the one I want. The A100 van with the shifter on the dashboard. Pulling up pictures. Well, that's the rubber part.
That's the rubber part. And then
The mounts would be different to accommodate the different suspension.
yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean the van.
You got the wrong mounts. That makes it easy though.
The van just had a. Oh, you're looking at both sets of mounts there?
Well, yeah, there's the driver's mount and the passenger mount, and really the only difference is where the bolts are in the block.
So what's the one look like for the 68 A100 van?
Well, those are just the rubber parts. It's more like this part, the bolt-on part, that's going to be different.
I'm sure I could figure out something. It doesn't help much at all. But without the engine, yeah, that doesn't help because then you don't have any of the stuff.
We have a set of extra mounts.
Do we?
Yeah, I could
The rubber ones or the metal part?
the metal part. I could go scrounge those in the garage most likely.
What are they out of? Where'd we get those?
Early 70s Dart. They're about the same. Or I could take pictures and I could bring them in. You want me to go out with the flashlight and take pictures, or do you not care, Ari? I'm not going to do it if you don't care.
You're gonna go out there in the dark and look at engine mounts.
I'll use
Where
a
are they?
flashlight.
Where are they? I don't even remember these mounts.
In that white cabinet, the white roller around cabinet. Remember, we had a trunk load of double duplication of effort. We had parts from 2 motors for.
I mean, if they work for him,
We'll mail them to you,
We'll just
buddy.
send them to him. Figure out something that does that. Yeah. Then you open up a box and you have a greasy thing in there.
All it is, Ari, is you've got
clean
the
them
wrong
off.
mounts.
We'll
They'll
clean
set
them.
the car. They'll set the engine up a little higher, or maybe a little further back.
We'll put them in the dishwasher before we send them. Look at me. This shirt.
We don't need
This
them.
shirt is starting to see through a little. It looks like sparkles.
Oh yeah,
It's got a little green. Oh, that's okay. I'd send you guys a few ducats. Ducats. For them if you don't mind parting with them. Oh, we gotta go find out what they are. And
But if you at least had the right parts, it would be like approachable.
he says a little burned out in general, but I know how that is. There's times I just can't even work on cars because I'm just burnt out. But some of that's going away because I'm not working. I'm not getting pulled off for work and stuff anymore. Put your son to work with you. Ari, how old's your son? I think I asked him that one. He's still pretty young. Yeah, how old was I? First started working on cars. There's a guy down the street let me start working on his car with him. And that's probably second grade, so I was probably like 8. What are you looking at?
I'm looking for an image that looks like the actual mount for the...
Should grab my flashlight
Don't
and
worry.
go up there.
I will. Are you guys okay with me going up there and getting those
My
figuring
son
out?
is 6. Yeah, 6 is a little young to start working
Maybe
on cars.
not. Maybe not.
It's fun to have him around, but it's probably not. He's probably not to the point where he can.
Oh, look at
handle
those.
wrenches.
See how they're so much thicker than the flat
Oh,
ones?
they're different. Is that what you have, Harry? Or do you have the flat ones? Ooh.
That would screw you up because
Those
those
are
look like
different.
about double the thickness, don't they?
Those are different.
That would get you off the pan.
So we don't have the rubber ones like that. We have the metal brackets, is what you're talking about.
See, but our brackets would be longer, so he could probably use shorter pucks.
He could run the jack. I was about 6 or 7, and the Ford dealer and my dad's car was jacked up with a floor jack under the rear end, and the guy in there, they were all done whatever they're doing. The guy says, "Come here," and I went over there, and he says, "Turn this handle," and I turned the handle, and the car came down. I thought that was so cool. Yeah, I was about 6 or 7 when I did that. Have him run the jack. 6-year-old clean the heck out of wheels. Yeah, I was washing cars when I was 6. I also need a hub, since I donated one to Zero. I have his old cracked drum. Oh, so you got a wheel issue.
Well, that guy down in Nashville that we were just talking to about
Yeah, that's a 67.
I think a
Might not be the
67 is the same. It's the small bolt pattern. Is it small bolt, Ari? Small bolt pattern, smaller upper ball joint with the drum brakes. You need the drum?
Man, we went to Nashville, which is...
Do you need the spindle or just the drum? Yeah, we went all the way down to Nashville. The guy was like, "Oh, well, I don't have it out of the car yet."
Well, we went down there and it's a 67 Valiant. I'm looking at all the pieces.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the same. 5-on-4. Yeah, but there's a big 5-on-4 and there's a smaller 5-on-4 that came with this 6 cylinders, which is probably what yours is. Yeah, it probably is the same.
No, there's 5-on-4 and 5-on-4.5.
Oh, I see. 5-on-4 and 5-on-4.5. Okay.
The
Yeah,
spindle
I
and the
was
drum
thinking-
are
I was thinking
integrated.
there's a 13 and a 14-inch wheel. The
Spindle
spindle and
and- yeah.
drum are integrated, aren't they?
Well, the spindle is the thing that sticks out of the control arm, but the
Oh, the drum and the hub is what he's talking
hub.
about. Yeah.
Oh, he did say I need a hub. Yeah, we can get you a 9-inch hub.
You think so? Where are you gonna get it?
We'll get one.
So, it is mostly our old parts. How you doing? So it is a front drum then. Oh yeah, I'm sure it's not discs. Well, the hub, not the spindle. Yeah, the hub and the drum are all one piece. Yeah.
We could probably scrounge you one, but I'll bet you could scavenge one out there. I'm surprised you can't scavenge one out there. Because people pull the drum brakes off to put disc conversions on.
Unless you're Tony. Tony takes the discs off and puts drums on.
If they're adjusted right.
Because he's drag racing. He doesn't want the
parasitic drag.
doesn't want the parasitic drag from.
Hey, mostly old parts. Welcome to the stream.
Hey, you want to show him some mostly old parts? Put my thumbnail.
Oh, you like your thumbnail, huh?
Maybe so. Those parts, some hoses, a fuel tank. Oh, fuel tank. We were so lucky. Our Valiant had a fuel tank. Yeah, see, there's some old parts. Old parts. Mostly old parts. There's some old parts that I don't have anymore. Oh, I should have kept that. The hub can be removed from a 9-inch drum and reinstalled. Oh, yeah, okay. But I mean, if we're gonna just grab one off a car, it'll be a 9-inch drum on a with the hub. that's a heavy thing. If he can find it out there, he's way better off just picking one up. And then if he finds somebody with a drum blade, they can clean it up a little bit. Ooh, 3 deuces. Yeah, that was either off a 390 1961 Ford or a 406 62 Ford. And maybe there were some 406s in 63 early, I guess. Mexican Spec said he had one or knew there was one or something. But the mine was on a 390 that I bored 80 over and made it into a 406, 406 inches, but still a 390 bored over. And then I cleaned it all up, made it perfect, and it was sitting in my living room for a while, and then I sold it to somebody. It was man, it was like that with the air cleaner and everything. Sold it for $300 back in Dougster. I sold that in I don't know, probably about 1976 or so. I wonder what that's worth today.
Whoa! Now we're getting into money.
I gotta see. See, I got this consumer price index.
Dougster, welcome to the stream.
I sold it for $300 in 1976, I think. Today, oh, that's like $1,600 today. Oh, I got good money for it, I guess.
I mean, that's about
what they go for now, isn't it?
Yeah, that's
yeah.
about right. That's how inflation works.
So,
The numbers check out. It's how much you're gonna pay if you try and get one.
We go back to Mopar if you want. Yeah, I like those. The other thing about that manifold.
Oh, back to the manifold. Okay.
That manifold, see where it's like a quarter of the head as well. See, the valve cover goes onto that manifold. Push rods come up through it. So that's a big, hefty manifold. The cast iron ones are 50 pounds heavier than the aluminum ones. It's amazing.
50 pounds just for a manifold?
Difference.
50 pounds heavier?
It's a 75-pound manifold, and that's a 25-pound manifold.
Holy cow. What's it filled with lead?
Filled with iron.
Damn.
Yeah, it's good to see Ari here, isn't it? He's out there electrifying the left coast. Man, it's probably fun working where you're working, though, if you're doing prototype stuff. And I spent a lot of my life doing prototype stuff. It was airplanes, but still it's fun. I mean, that's just really fun. And then when you see the stuff go into production, and you look at something in production, you go, yeah, I worked that out, and now it's in production. That's a fun thing to do. I don't care what it is, what kind of project it is. It's fun. So what else are we gonna look at? Can I pull stuff up here?
Over here. You're the
I'm the one that pulls up over there?
Yeah, if you click right or left, it will change.
Okay. So I can something here is like, oh, I see what happened.
If you just go over here.
No, I know. I'm just not. Where is that thing? Is this thing? Oh, why did it go up there?
That's where it goes.
Yeah, that's that thing that we're gonna take the body off of it.
He's looking forward to that. We're gonna do a Will It Run, but we're really trying to do Power Tour this year, so it's still kind of
an SUV that looked like the '92 Round Blazer. Is it coming out? That video I watched was a Rivian SUV that was a nice looking car. Hey, how much does a Rivian weigh? How much is the SUV or the pickup? How much does that thing weigh? I bet those things are heavy. Of course, I don't know. Are there short-range batteries and long-range batteries? I don't know how all that is. Yeah, see? There you go. Yeah, bring that up. Show that up. Yeah, it's a what is that thing? It's a Spitfire, but it's a piece of crap. But I'm gonna make it into something good. The body's no good. The body's just got some rust and lots of Bondo.
He hates that body.
Well, the body, somebody bonded over what was left of the rusty body, and 7,000 pounds depending on the battery pack. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. There's probably different battery packs. Yeah, look at that. I think that's a decent looking car. I like the headlights. Kind of weird.
Futuristic.
But I like the headlights. Are the headlights the oval ones or the headlights the wide ones? Are the old ones headlights or running lights? I don't even know. It's a Spitfire, probably more fire.
We haven't heard it run yet. I've worked on stuff that's fire, and I mean there was a little bit of it for a while there. I was buying things. There was a little bit of trend that goes with fire. We had the Chrysler Crossfire, which we call the Lost Fire. There is the Bronco, which was definitely on fire. All the wiring was burned, and the hood was burned, and the wiper motor was burned. And then there's the Spitfire, which was not on fire, but named fire. So we had a fire thing going.
What I like about those British cars is they're just a little cast iron 4-cylinder pushrod engine. They're really simple, reliable engines when they're running, you know.
It will burn up. You think it'll burn up?
What will burn up?
I think you're talking about the Spitfire.
Where is that? I missed it. I don't know. So those about stadium lights. They're called stadium lights. Maintenance supervisor has a Rivian truck, all black, and these wheels make think of cherry blossoms. I mean, it will burn up. Oh, the Spitfire. Headlights are ovals. Yeah, I didn't know if the headlights were the ovals or those are running lights, or I think they're also turn signals. It's weirdness, but I think it looks kind of cool. It really just looks so strange. I like it. Yeah, the Spitfire. Yeah, you know, the Spitfire, that body's coming off of there. Then it's going to be, and it's a separate frame, four-wheel independent suspension. I'll build a body for it out of aluminum or fiberglass or both, and just have some. It's so tiny, it won't be that hard to. It won't be that hard to build a body for it. The oval shape resembles a lit-up stadium, I guess. Oh, what are you looking at? That's a Spitfire. Is that engine just a little Ritney-Putney 4-cylinder cast iron engine, pushrod engine? You know, it's like that's like the ultimate of simplicity. It's a 1200 cc, about the size of a motorcycle engine. You know, what are they, like 68 horsepower or something? It's fine. Oh, the Spitfire, yeah, the GT6 is a 6-cylinder. Looks like but it kind of looks like a Spitfire, I think. I don't know. Yeah, but this one, the one I have that's here, I don't know how to swap this.
That's me.
You do that? The one we have, which is that one, the body is so bad.
Yeah.
So
the bonnet is quite rusted.
So it's coming off, and then I don't know. I can make anything out of aluminum. It'll be a fun car, you know.
That'll be a
Dean
good winter project because
Stevenson.
it's
Dean Stevenson.
tiny. Because it's tiny. You'll be able to walk all around it and work in the garage in the winter.
You can read Dean Stevenson's. It's like, that's a tongue twister.
Nope, we're just going to leave her right there.
Aren't you damn
Welcome to the stream,
How big
Dean.
are you, Aaron? See, I'm 5'7", so I can, I don't know, I can fit in it somehow. I'll make the body so I can fit in it.
Yeah, just put
Kim Borghini.
one pedal in either floorboard so that you can...
Oh, if I could fit in those little airplanes I built. I had one airplane that I could fit in it just with, my knees had to be bent like really
That's
tight.
true. He's used to little airplanes. I'm sure this won't be any
I had a single
smaller.
place airplane that weighed 252 pounds empty. Oh man, let's see here. GT6 looks like a Brit and a Japanese have a bunch of. It's a British version of a Datsun Z. Oh yeah, I know what the GT6 looks like, sure. Stream is mean. Dino. Yeah, so yeah, but I don't like that. You know, I'll
Ours
just do
isn't
my own
like-
dash. It's just be a sheet of aluminum. Put some
Ours
gauges
isn't
in
like
it.
that. Isn't it in the center? I think it's...
I don't know. Yeah,
think
I'll
it's
just
the
put
wrong
I'll have a
dash.
sheet of aluminum and put some gauges in it. Or maybe just plaster a GPS to the center of it. I don't know. Oh, I'm 6'3" or so. Up to probably 250 pounds now. Overgrown. Yeah, you're not going to fit in that car.
And not
comfortably.
with the top up.
It get you in there and then probably take a while to get you out, but it's not going to be comfortable. Max Triumph made GT6. Yeah, I've never owned British cars. My first wife, her mother bought a new MGB in 1978. I drove that thing around a little. I really liked that car. Really inefficient to be this size. It's about if you drove a limo everywhere and wanted to, yeah. Being short has its disadvantages. Like Kim's probably a few inches taller than me.
A little tall.
She's way taller than me. And I can't reach stuff off shelves. She'll put something up on a cupboard, and it's like stuff where I had empty shelves up there because I couldn't reach them. Now there's stuff up there I need, and I got to get her to get the stuff down. You're huge, Ari. Yeah, 6'3". Yeah, you wouldn't have fit in the airplanes I built, not very well. But then, that's why you fit so well in that 1960 Chevy pickup. Pontimaniac, how are you doing?
Welcome to stream. Thanks for coming in.
I got it.
We're just talking about everything and nothing at the same time.
Yeah.
Cars.
Oh.
We were trying to help Ari figure out how to get the motor in his car, and we were talking about Rivians, and we were talking about intake manifolds, and we were talking about this Spitfire and some other projects that we have going on. And
my son's mother now works selling new MGs. Oh, they're Chinese. I didn't even think about that. Oh, you put the carburetors back up.
I was just telling Pontimaniac everything we were talking about.
Pontimaniac would like to see those maybe. That's if I'm spending any money on a foreign car, I want a Jensen Interceptor. I used to work on those. I had radiator shops back in the 70s and 80s, and I had a couple of customers Jensen Interceptors, and that's a pretty cool thing. I don't remember one of the 6-pack though. I remember they had 440s in them. Or are you talking about putting a 6-pack? What is that?
I think that's the new MG.
Are you
MG5.
That's an MG?
Yeah.
Oh, it doesn't look anything like an MG.
Sorry, I
That's might be a Chinese version of an MG. What's that? Oh.
That's another picture of the same thing, I think. Yeah, there's the logo on the front of it.
Oh, that's terrible.
Once again, I did not design the car.
That's good. No. I mean, I'm glad you put it up there because I didn't even know about that. At least the logo is the same, but it's made in China. Oh man. So you got Chinese cars in Mexico. I'm surprised that there's a lot of that. Your labor rates are. I don't know why they're bringing in Chinese stuff. Mexican stuff is so good. Let's see here. I've been running my mouth at these poor folks for an hour. We've been having a conversation with Harry because we missed him. At least it's not despicable again. I got to put a cough drop in, Mike. I got a dry throat. I told her nobody should buy a Chinese car, but she needs the money. Well, I mean, if the job's there, yeah, you got to. That's okay. At least there's some Mexican labor going into it somehow.
Dr. Art's here. Hey, Dr. Art, welcome to the stream.
Thing's scrolling by so fast. There's Dr. Art. I'm missing some of them because it's scrolling by pretty good. Doug's sure they came from factory with a 6-pack. Yeah, I didn't know that. I did work on a few of them. That's one thing, having a radiator shop, specialty shop back then. I did a lot of service stuff, like once a year services on cars. And I had a Jensen Interceptor. I had 2 customers with the Panteras, and there was some stuff like that. Oh, and the what was the one we were talking about Sunday night? The little Sunbeam. It's the V8 version of the Alpine. I can't think of what they call it now. Yeah, that doesn't really say MG. Yeah, that's what I think. That doesn't look like an MG, except for the logo on the middle of the grill. Oh, there we go.
If you have not ever been to or are not following Dr. Art's Hot Rod Rehab. He is working with Kiwi and Uncle Tony on a truck for Power Tour upcoming, which is a pretty quick deadline considering where the truck is at. It's an interesting project, and he has been hammering away on it. So Big Richard, they call the truck, and it is a Dodge with a 318 that has clearly been. It needs a lot of love.
How many cubic inches? 318 divided by 8 would, because it's a 1-cylinder right now. Yeah, Mexican Spec a Tiger. I don't know why.
I think there's a second cylinder that kicks in now and then once it gets going fast enough, you know.
Big Richard needs some work.
Dr. Art, so I was watching, and I know it's fun to tear stuff apart and try and make something work. So do all of that. But if it gets to where you're just like, okay, we just want an engine, and you're not ready to do the Hemi, I have a 318 that I got out of a project. Yeah, there he is. Thank you, Ari, for posting a link to his channel. Check it out.
Now everybody can go to Dr. Art.
Check that out after our stream. So I won't give away exactly where they're at. But if Dr. Art, if you get to where you want a motor, last summer I saw a guy selling a 318 and it had headers and a 4-barrel intake and everything on it. So I bought it, and I ran into some problems like the bolts for the rocker arms. One of them snapped off in the head, and one of them's special washers is missing, which is not a big deal if you John Wilburn for
it's
the win.
A 40 cubic inch, 39.74. Yeah, so he's got a 40 cubic inch engine that runs.
So one of the heads needs a little bit of fussing with. The rest of the motor is okay. The reason the motor was pulled out of the truck is because the truck had transmission problem. They pulled it out, had the transmission rebuilt, and an amateur who put it back together, they must have not aligned the torque converter. All I can think of is either they didn't align the torque converter properly, like you know how you have to turn it until it all engages and drops in. I don't think they did that, because in the back of the motor.
Oh, just posted a new video an hour ago. Yeah, we haven't watched that.
Oh, I want to see.
Well, you're gonna have to see it when we're finished.
All right. Well, then I'm not going to talk about it too much. Gosh, I want to stop what we're doing and watch it right now. Can we watch it right now on stream,
no.
Doctor?
No. We'll watch this after we're done here.
There's a witness mark on the back of the motor, like where the freeze plug for the cam is, where one of the torque converter bolts was hitting the block. And they got scared. They thought they threw a rod, so they shut it down and pulled the motor out. And then the guy who owned the truck passed away.
Well, that's the one you got.
Right.
Okay.
So the problem was transmission. It was a running engine, and it's like 7 minutes long. He says we could watch it.
Yeah, well, I don't want to watch one.
But anyways, I got that motor. I took the carburetor off, and took all the front assembly off so that it was a little more manageable to move around. I took all the spark plugs out, squirted motor oil in all the spark plug holes, rolled it over, squirted oil in it again because I knew it was going to go into storage, put all the spark plugs back in, wrapped it in plastic, and set it up. So it is like really ready to like drop in, fix that thing with the rocker arm,
what are you
put
gonna
a carburetor on.
What are you going to do, lend it to him until he gets the Hemi?
Sure, you can borrow it
just
until you put it
borrow the
in.
engine, you put it in there.
It'll be good for it to get some exercise. If you want to buy it, I'll sell it to you. We'll work out a fair price, but I'm not trying to make a fortune off of it or anything like that. Like, I've got Magnum engines for the projects that I'm doing right now, and like, I can't do all the stuff I'm doing. So if you have something happening right now and need the motor, it's safer for it. If it's even with oil in it 3 or 4 years from now, who knows? Something bad could happen. So
There's Dizzy Izzy.
Hey, Dizzy Izzy, thanks for coming in. You won't let me put on the Dr. Art thing. He said we can watch it.
No, I don't want to. I don't want to.
It's a major interruption.
Okay, here's
to
the
our
deal.
stream.
If everybody in here watches Dr. Art, he gets a whole lot of views.
Okay.
If we play it here, he gets one view. You know, that's dumb.
The truck belongs to Kiwi.
He says he can save that one.
Oh, he's gonna save it. All right, Dr. Art. I can't wait to see the video.
Well, maybe that's part of the fun. Is
Okay, we're not gonna watch the video for the reason that he says. We don't want to steal your views by bringing it all here.
No, that's not nice.
Yeah, that's not kosher. But we're excited to see how it's going, and I was impressed that Tony worked on I don't know how you convinced him to do that, but he worked on on video. He actually did work live being recorded. He usually does his work and then comes and shows you what he did. So he's outwardly stated he's not really into doing that. So
John's checking out. Read that. Oh man. Yep, John will figure it out. I'm the same kind of way. I'll sit there and do the math on things and go.
But very interesting, Dr. Rod. I hope that when you're done with it, it has enough pep to be worthy of Power Tour. But I enjoy revivals, so it's a cool thing for me to want to see. No, some people are just of that mind, and math is something. Like some people like jigsaw puzzles, and some people like building engines. And people who don't like it think that it's crazy and a waste of time, but people who do like it, it's the thing.
A person who does math for fun has too much time on their hands. Yeah, I don't know. I did, my whole life was math kind of related stuff. You're designing mechanical stuff. It's just something you got to do. That's a Little Nash Rambler. And there was a song about that. You're too young to remember the song about the Nash Rambler. I like those swept line trucks, especially ones with the enormous headlight bezels. Which ones are those? The Dodges? Those Dodges, they had Dodge trucks with big fins in the back. Looked like the Ford look, only on a truck. Man, I'm missing comments. I'm sorry, people.
I'm looking at Dean Stevenson's comment, and I don't know who all's involved, but it sounds like somebody's having some health problems.
That's the one I was looking for. It's disappearing now.
Our thoughts are with you because it's no picnic. Being sick or having someone that you care about being sick. So I hope that they're getting the care that they need.
Yeah, I don't know who that is. Let's see, there's some reserve parts for it. Oh God, I'm sitting here somehow. My whole leg went to sleep. Oh, that was. How did I do that?
Mexican Spec, you bring up a good point.
Where's that?
Speaking of songs, I don't hear anybody singing about new cars or engines like they did before. What are some songs? We can't play music, but when's the last time there was a modern car mentioned in a song?
You know something I want to ask? I don't know if I should ask it on here. Ari. Always has good music on his shorts.
Yeah, how do you get away with that, Ari?
How do you do that? No, I'll say no more.
Oh, Auto Salvage Outlaws. Yeah, he's been making videos from his bed or just.
Oh, that's who ASO is. Oh, okay, yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
It's USA. Let's see. I'm trying to read some of this stuff. My Chevrolet is in Mexico. Will not be seen in the U.S. anytime soon. Little Deuce Coupe.
That's not a new song.
C.
That's like the Beatles or something
Lucy
from a long time ago.
You're here. Good. How are you doing? Math is necessary. I do financial math. You know what? Today, I got my taxes finished and everything's done. It's like, oh man, like the math of the year every year. And I hate that stuff. I have somebody do it for me just because my strong point is more mechanical stuff. And I'd rather have somebody that their strong point is taxes so they don't make mistakes. But I still go over it. I found mistakes.
I just sold my green Chevy Sonic. So we both have money to throw into the endless pit of death.
I wasn't gonna say I got any money back, but I am getting. I'm getting some refund, which is. I didn't work that much this year, but at
That
least I get something.
giant well that we call endless debt. We have lots of money to throw in it. We get dollar bills out of the bank and we just throw the dollars in one at a time because it feels so much more.
Dr. Art wants to know about my Air Force time. Let's see. I want to make sure, because I could talk too long, then these scroll by and I'll miss it all. Okay, my Air Force time. I went in Vietnam, just toward the end of Vietnam, but it was still going. And I thought I was going to have to go over there. Why is my phone buzzing? Don't know. And I ended up, they sent me to Travis Air Force Base. I was a jet engine mechanic, and I worked on engines in the shop for C-141s, if you know what those are. Kim's running away.
Go ahead, you can talk.
So,
I just need a beverage.
And then later on, I was in for 10 years. Some of that was active duty, some of it was reserve. I was a very active reservist. While I was in the reserves, I ran by then I was Master Sergeant, E7 in the Air Force. And I ran, for the last 2 years I was in, I ran a jet engine shop that rebuilt the little APUs. They're about the size of a car engine. And they use them to start other engines. And some of them are in airplanes, some of them are in ground power units. So that's what I did there. When I got out of the Air Force, I really worked on cars, but then I got into designing airplanes, smaller airplanes, and that's really more my aircraft experiences, the small airplanes. Kim, I need your help soon, because this stuff's scrolling by faster than I can read it, so I'm missing comments. Hot Rod Lincoln. Oh yeah, I remember that. Hot Rod Lincoln.
Okay. What I'll do.
Well, yeah.
You're over here?
That's
now,
what I do.
If you use the scrolly thing, you can scroll up and down.
Scrolly thing? Okay, I can scroll back.
You got it.
Tunes. Okay, thank you. I try to have good tunes. It's just through the YouTube app. They have songs that you can use. 15 seconds! Oh, that's how you get the good songs through. It's legal. I didn't know how you were doing that. Well, I'll tell you what, Ari, you're doing a good job with that. Because sometimes I listen to yours, and I like the music. And you pick the right stuff for what you're doing. Cassette, I'm missing stuff here. I'm sorry. Yeah, Hot Rod Lincoln. Man, you ever see that car? You can actually go online and find that car, and it's got a flathead Lincoln in it, which kind of looks like a flathead Ford, except it's a V12. It's pretty cool stuff. Let's see. I was a F4 crew chief. See, okay, you were a crew chief. I was a specialist. I was a jet engine mechanic. And man, I was working on those big airplanes. I worked on C-141s and C-5s. And I always tried to get on smaller stuff. And then it was like a joke, because when I got on the UAVs, I got put on a little tiny UAV for a short period of time. Little tiny. Had a 12-foot wingspan. So the joke was, I wanted something smaller, but I didn't want this small. I was really hoping in the Air Force to end up on like some F5s or...
It takes a big man to fly a small plane.
Like an F5. You know what an F5 is. It's a F5 Freedom Fighter, and they used them in the U.S. mostly for aggressor-type aircraft. And foreign countries used them as fighters. Wow, you're F4 crew chief. That's cool stuff. I like driving a shit heap of AMC Spirits. What's wrong with AMC Spirits? A lot of 8 tracks with no player. Oh man, I had 8 tracks. I had 4 tracks, if anybody remembers those. I had 8 tracks way back. But my 74 Matador, last car I had with an 8-track player in it. If you're not monetized, it doesn't matter what song you use. Yeah, but I think Ari's monetized, isn't he? I think he is. Roy Bailey. Lady from Pasadena. Yeah, I remember that real well. Does anyone remember the insane song? Around 19... DOA. I don't remember. I should. 1970. I was 16 years old in 1970. That's when I got my driver's license. 6-liter GTR. My Spirit is... Oh yeah, Mexican Spec. You have a Spirit, don't you? I remember the very first Spirit that I saw. I came around a corner, and the guy that owned the AMC dealer drove by in this thing, and I went like, "What is that?" And I turned the corner and speed up, and I caught up to him, and it was a Spirit. It was the first one I saw. Didn't know what it was.
My mom liked an AMC. She had a Spirit, and we had a Concorde.
You had a Spirit.
We had a Concorde and a Spirit, and or maybe my grandmother had a Spirit. Is the Spirit the hatchback or the sedan?
Spirit looked like a gremlin that they made the
My
top.
grandmother had one. A tree fell on it.
But the gremlin was chopped off in the back.
Yeah. The Spirit
looked like a short fastback.
Well, and it was an AMC. So
and it looked pretty good.
It had that AMC front end fender kind of
yep.
thing that was like bulbous, sort of.
Well, I knew it was AMC as soon as it went by because I saw the front end when I saw the back.
I don't know why I'm not using the things that the world.
Frank Zappa actually had a song called Studebaker Hawk. You were 5 in 1970. And you're a little kid. 1970, she wasn't.
Me?
You weren't around 1970. I was already driving. Zappa had a tune called Mud Shark. My Spirit doesn't have the V8 though. It has a 4.6. Oh, don't give me this 4.6 stuff. What is that? That's a 258 or a 232. Don't know. My Matador had a 258 in it, which I should have got the 401, but I did. Yeah, see, it looks like a sort of like a Gremlin. Well, a Gremlin windshield and doors, and the rest of it. Well, that one's got all kind of stuff on it.
That's kind of what I remember.
That's what you guys had? You guys had one of those.
It had the door handles that flop out like a plate.
AMC door handles, yeah. My AMC had the same thing. I'm trying not to see it.
Bam-a-lam.
Let's see. Old Black Betty. Zappa had a song called, 280 something. Oh, it's a 280 something? See, my AMC had a 258.
Yeah.
Which was kind of the predecessor to the 4-liter, like Tony has. 4.6 is 280.7. Oh, that's weird. I don't even know what that is. Wow.
It was great having you here,
Ari. It's really good to see you. And if you're somehow let me know what's going on Sunday. If you're going to do the after the Tony, let me know. If you're not going to do it, I'm going to jump in there and do it because we had a really good time doing it. But if you're doing it, I'll jump in. I'll attend your live. So good to see you. Thanks for stopping by.
It's a lot of work doing lives, so I can understand you'd want to take a break.
Having issues with my speaker. See y'all later. Sorry I have to miss tonight. See you later, Lucy's. Check your fluids. Yeah, oh yeah, we didn't do that on the way to
Everyone check your fluids.
We didn't do that on the way to No Name Nationals. We got stuck because we didn't check our fluids.
We didn't get stuck. We just got waylaid.
I had a Gremlin 75 in 86. They have a great car chase scene in 007 with a Matador. Yeah.
Oh, there was some Gremlin pictures.
258 is a 4.2 liter. Okay. And the 4.6 was used in some cars because of the bad gas. I didn't even know about it. It's not in the U.S. This is scrolling so fast I can't do it.
That's not a Spirit. That's a Gremlin, isn't it?
That's a I don't know. Because the back window doesn't look like a Gremlin. The side windows don't look like Gremlin.
It says it's a Spirit.
I don't know. Was there a Spirit that had that?
I thought a Spirit looked like this.
That's what I thought. I don't know.
Sorry.
Let's see here. Ugliest AMC. My vote is for the Matador. With the Concorde gets them. You know, the Matador with the big bug eyes was just one of my favorite cars, and I had one. I just had to have one of those. I bought one. Gremlin X. Gremlins are great cars. Yeah, I had a friend that when I had my Cougar, my friend had the Gremlin with the 429 Ford with a tunnel ram, and he and I go out and race each other and break stuff. Those two cars are pretty even. Been driving all night. My hands are wet. Oh yes, driving all night. My hands are wet. What song?
And a
was
line
that?
of cars.
I'll tell you when that was. I was in the Air Force then. That was in 1974,
That's
and I remember
Love?
Radar Love. I remember listening to that. There was this little place on base where it was like a little bar, and you could buy bar food. And I go in there, and that was always on. It was on the whatever their PA system was there, jukebox or something, and the place was called the Snake Pit. Snake Pit, and that song reminds me of that place. The Pacer, yeah, Pacer was a weird one. Pacer should have been filled with water, and they put fish in it, you know.
The fender flares, I gotta say, like they did a nice job. That's like the thing that they did on cars at that time of the sort of in the late '70s there to like sort of wide body them out, and they kind of look good.
The Matador. That's something I liked about the Matador. The way the back end looked with the that whole shape of it. An ugly relative. What you look? You're chasing something. You're chasing something online.
The AMX.
A 79 or a 79. No, 69 AMX. I liked AMXs. I get the hiccups. The early AMXs were like a shortened Javelin, and then I'm sorry, I got the hiccups. Though the newer AMXs were like the same. Brandon Lee is coming on strong. Man, I remember all this. Oh, you know what I'm gonna do when we're done here? I gotta go and find that song and play it like really loud, and Kim will like throw me out of the house. Man, I remember that sitting in the snake pit listening. I'm sure that has a V8. The wheels don't look big enough though. Oh yeah, all of those AMX Spirits. To me, that's not much of an AMX, I guess. I don't know. The AMX, but I like it. But, you know. 74 AMC Hornet is pretty sweet looking. I like the Hornets. I really like the Hornets. I never had one. But I drove a lot. I mean, I had customers that had them, so I drove them, you know. I like them. A friend has a mom's Levi Gremlin. I remember the Levi Gremlins. Dark blue and an old Chevette 4-door butter dish yellow. Both are super nice cars. You know, the AMC dealer was in the same position as my radiator shop was, one block up the street. So I'd walk up there and look at all the cars all the time. And that was 70s. Oh yeah, there you go. See, I think that's a great looking car. That's a piece of artwork. That looks as good as any Nova or Maverick or anything. I don't know why they weren't popular. I think that's a great looking car. Let's see here. I'm trying to catch up with this. A lot of amps that are still in use here in great condition. They're the cheapest cars you can. I keep saying one day. The thing is, if I go to Mexico and go down and meet up with Mexican Spec and start looking at cars, I'm gonna want all of them. 304 is such an easy engine to make an AMC proper. Oh yeah, that's what I said. My Matador, I ordered it it was beginning of the fuel crunch and all that, and I ordered it with a 6-cylinder in it, and I should have just ordered with a 401 in it. The 6-cylinder got 15 miles a gallon. It was the best I could get out of it. And I had a friend that had a 360, and he got 16. It's like, that was dumb. I should have bought the V8. Yeah, Radar Love. Man, I like that song. Oh, the interior in the Levi's Gremlin that is not denim material. Oh, it isn't. I just thought it was. But it was. Oh, the Marlin. I didn't really like the Marlin. The proportion. You know, the back of the Marlin looked all right, but the front was a Rebel. I mean, it just didn't look right. I mean, I don't know. I guess.
It does kind of look like a fish.
See, from the back it looks good, but the front's all stubby. It doesn't look. Oh, look what somebody did to that. It looks like a '57 Chevy in the back.
Dropped it and chopped it. That's
but
crazy.
The front end doesn't look good. It needs to be longer up front. You know, the last year. That's the last year. The last year looked good because they put what's it called, the Ambassador fenders and hood and grill on it, and it looked way better because the front was a little longer. But I'd say that one of the Marlins, I kind of like it. But the back end's big like the original Charger, but I think it actually looks better than the original Charger because it tapers back a little bit. Okay, I gotta get caught up here. I'm missing stuff. Um, I'm missing stuff. Okay, I need to. I'm missing all the because I'm talking and looking and I'm not keeping up with the. She just threw the mouse at me.
I can't get it. Something's wrong.
The mouse's tail isn't long enough. Oh, go to Cuba. Yeah, but they got they're in it because
I
they
don't know
have
why
to
it
be in
got
it.
shorter. I think it's tangled. I got
Something's tangled. Yeah, our mouse is.
figure it out here.
Go back.
What is going on?
I don't know. I can't keep up with these. I'm just gonna have to skip some. Cuba. They have all those cars and they blame it on the their problems with their cars on the Americans with.
Is this the?
Oh, what are you doing?
I gotta steal the mouse.
Oh my god.
It's all.
Well, you're messing up everything.
Yeah, figures.
You got all kinds of stuff on the screen
I
now.
got it all tangled down here. Hold on. Ah.
She's under the table trying to untangle a mouse's tail.
Chasing a mouse.
You should have got your cordless mouse.
The cordless mouse is doing other things.
I don't know what you're doing, but you're making a mess out of our screens. Okay, I got the mouse. Crazy. Here, take this. I don't want anything to do with it now.
Wait, but I got it
Well,
untangled.
see, it's down here we got all kinds of stuff we didn't have before,
okay,
and up there you had a white thing up there.
Okay. We got it.
Okay.
Okay, we're
Dean
good.
Stevens. Oh, who's
Okay.
leaving? Who's leaving?
Don't leave.
Somebody's leaving. I didn't see who's leaving.
Thanks for stopping in.
See a Mazda RE. I don't know what that is. Rambler Scrambler. Oh, the Rambler Scrambler was a really cool car. Man, yeah, and those things, they want so much money for them now. And it's just a little AMC Rambler, but it's red, white, and blue. It says Scrambler on it.
Oh, I saw
motor in
pictures
it.
of those.
It had a big engine in it. I mean, you could make that. Chitty chitty bang bang, you know. Let's see here. Oh yeah, I mean, but just think about that. That's just it's an AMC Rambler. You could do that to it real easy, but because it's what it is, it's worth a lot. I don't really like the hood scoop, but you know, that's would be a fun car. But any of those AMC Ramblers, you could make that into a fun car. So, Van Dyke is still going strong. He's almost 100 years old. He's still singing? No deal. Wow, I didn't know that. My head is just... the band on this hat is probably digging in something. I don't know. So, what was the other AMC we were looking at that I really like? I don't remember. Short Ambassador. Yeah, I don't remember what I was thinking. Somebody on here I saw said what was that AMC we were just looking at? The big long one? Brain fart, can't remember. The that one right there.
This one?
The Marlin. The Marlin had 4 bucket seats. I didn't know that. That must be just like the Dodge Charger, 66 Charger and 67 Charger had 4 bucket seats. See, 66 Charger came out. I was 11 years old. It was a little town where I walked around to all the dealers. Went down there, saw a Charger, saw the console go all the way into the back seat with 4 bucket seats. I thought that was the coolest thing I'd ever seen. Tried to talk my father into buying one. No. He liked big brown 4-door sedans. Bench seats. Let's see here.
They can do it if they want, Mexican spec.
Let's see here. What is Dean Stevenson saying? I don't know. I think it's Chitty Chitty Bang Bang because the King didn't. See, I never watched that. I never saw that. Can anybody hear me? I start talking softly. I don't know if I can be heard. Always. I didn't know Dick Van Dyke was still singing. Yeah, he's up there. So what other cars do you want to look at, AMC? I know there's AMC stuff I like.
None. Don't want to look at any more
You don't wanna
cars.
look
I'm
at
tired
AMC.
of looking at cars.
The 74 Matador.
Let's go to the dyno room.
The dyno room.
Let's talk about horsepower. Let's talk about dyno power.
Yeah, 8:38. So we got about 20 minutes to go.
I'm
I
sure
never
I saw
saw.
Chitty
I
Bang
never
Bang as
saw
a kid.
Chitty Bang Bang. I never saw it. Oh. Yeah, that's our dyno room. Unlike the one that most of the dyno rooms.
Who's the guy at Nick's garage? Yeah.
Yeah, Nick's garage, and I was
His
trying to
dyno.
think, the guy that lives up in Vacaville, California, goes down south and runs the dyno down there. His big YouTuber, dyno YouTuber guy. Can't think of his name. I can't think of anybody's name anymore. Somebody on here will know who I mean. So the guy that Tony was talking about the other day.
Sinclair gasoline, yeah. They got the dyno.
Man, I was in Oregon, and the where I was in Pendleton, Oregon. The airport's kind of up on a plateau, up on a hill. You come down this road, the switchbacks. You come down to the bottom, and right there at the bottom, there's a big dinosaur sitting there in front of the Sinclair station, and they had some kind of crappy sandwiches that I used to buy, and I bought my gas there. I'm not supposed to be eating bread, but there I am. And when you're working out somewhere where there's no food, I buy one of these big sandwiches like this, full of meat, cheese, lettuce, bread. So good, but it really probably wasn't that good. And I wasn't supposed to be eating bread. Yeah, Sinclair Gasoline had Dino the dinosaur for its. They still have those. That gas station had a big old dinosaur out front, like a big full-size, not as big as me, bigger than me, dinosaur out there. And then coming back across country, coming across Oregon and all across Wyoming, every Sinclair station had those dinosaurs out there, like a big model dinosaur. I want one of those. I want one of those dinosaurs. Yeah, see right there in the upper right-hand corner. Oh, there they are. That's what you see in front of the... Oh, she's going to bring it up. That's what you see in front of the gas stations. Those things. I want one.
Well, those are good prices for gas, too.
Oh, that's probably a while ago.
I think it was. Oof.
Or the taquito rolls at 7-Eleven. 7-Eleven, that's some quality junk food. The sad thing is, when I'm diabetic and I've got weight problems, I struggle with it all. I'm not real heavy right now, but 20 years ago I was way overweight. So, but when I'm out working, staying in hotels, and oh man, that's a really good one.
It's the Brontosaurus.
I would eat. I just eat what I could find, and it was never the right thing, and my blood sugar would go up, and blood pressure would go up. Now I've got all this under control, but because we go shopping and buy the right stuff. I have a refrigerator. I'm on the road, not having a refrigerator, not having a place to cook except a microwave in a hotel room. It's not fun, And then I eat all wrong. It's Essex V6 powering the Chitty. Oh, we're still talking about Chitty Bang Bang. Sinclair gas. Okay. How about Flubber? I remember Flubber. What was Flubber? I remember that. I was a little kid.
They had a remake of that movie too with
Flubber. I remember the name, but I don't remember what it was.
I remember seeing some of it.
Sinclair had a killer exhibition at the 1963 New York World's Fair. I remember that World's Fair. I didn't go, but I remember looking at all the cars that were there, like the Mustang, and the Ford had a weird big wagon called the Aurora. I remember seeing a lot of pictures from that stuff. Imagine naming a Dutch after an MPV. Okay, I don't know what all that is. See, I don't know what they're even talking about. Fred Flintstone used to work on top of it. Oh yeah, Fred Flintstone. Yeah, that was a. Yeah, their machines were all made out of dinosaurs. Flintstones and the Jetsons were on at the same time, and they were like 1960s culture, prehistoric, and out in the future. But it is so silly. I used to watch all that stuff, but I was a little kid then. Those were primetime shows when I was like in second and third grade.
Oh, this is the one right here.
What's that?
This is Fred working.
Oh yeah, there he
quarry.
is. There he is. Yep. Yeah, how'd he get up there? What was the guy's name he worked for? What was the guy's name that he worked for? It was like Rock or something. I don't remember what his name was. And then the guy that George Jetson worked for, he was Mr. Spacely, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, who was the guy that?
Roy Bailey, welcome to the stream. Thank you for commenting.
I missed that. Oh,
he's new.
Well, yeah, he's been up a little bit.
I enjoy watching Luke. I just watched. He had a video where he got a tank of bad gas that caused his car to break down on the highway. He had to siphon all the gas out, put new gas in, and then it started working again. They talked to the, and then there was comments in his forums that the gas station admitted that there was diesel fuel in the 91 octane fuel for some reason. So they did work out what the problem was, and he got it going again.
You're right, Mr. Slate. I suspect got it.
Mr. Slate.
Slate. I think
Mr.
so.
Slate, yeah.
But that I was thinking about. Oh, Luke from Thunderhead 289. You know, he did that. Did a little tiny carburetor and some electronics, and he was getting really good gas mileage with a 302. And then he put that real tall intake manifold that was like 3 feet, 4 feet high or something.
He did that last year for Power Tour.
Just barely got it out of his garage. And I don't know, he's kind of he does some cool stuff. Really odd stuff, but I like it.
Yeah, and well, they come out with that carb cheater thing that's basically just a variable, uses your O2 sensor and adjusts your
that's right.
the idle air thing. Okay, sorry, go ahead.
Spacely sprockets.
Yeah,
man, these guys remember all this stuff.
Of course they do.
I'm a
it's
little
part
kid.
of our youth.
Let's see. Watch Ergo had the same problem with an Equinox. Equinox. What's the Pontiac version of the Equinox? What's the Pontiac version of the Equinox? Oh, what is it? It was like 0607 in there. There was a Pontiac version. I had one of those. I had a mini lease on one of those Pontiacs. And that was a nice little SUV-like thing.
Is it a G6?
No. Pontiac. It's a...
Vibe?
No. Those are little tiny cars. It's like a... I can't think of it. You're right. Mexican Spec got it. Mexican Spec knows cars so well. It was a Pontiac Torrent.
Oh, I wasn't going to guess that.
I had a Pontiac Torrent for... it was a mini lease. I was supposed to drive it around Arizona. I drove it all the way to here and back at Christmas time. I drove a rental. It was an unlimited mileage rental, and I drove it here, and then I drove it back. I drove it to California several times from Arizona. I drove it up to Vegas a couple of times. I went to turn it in, and the woman I'm turning it into, she takes the gun on the, they had a little like some kind of thing on the window. She does that, and she looked inside and got the mileage. And she goes, she's putting it into this machine, this little handheld thing. She goes, wait a minute. She goes, you put 11,000 miles on this? You couldn't have. That's a mistake. And she looks in there again, and I said, yeah, I probably did. She goes, you can't do that. You're going to have to go upstairs and talk to them. I thought I was in trouble. I went up there, and the woman upstairs looks at it. She goes, it's unlimited mileage. You're fine. So she goes, she didn't want to do the paperwork. So I put 11,000 miles on a Pontiac Torrent that I had for 2 months. Oh, geez. You have a diuretic buff. I just used my... This is to bleed me dry. She said, yeah, I take diuretic. Let's see. A lot because I skip school and watch TV all day. Oh man, I was bored most of the time in school, especially with science and math, because I was way ahead of them. It's just that's what I knew, you know. I'd been just stuff. I was way ahead in school on those two subjects. So I had another friend that was kind of the same. We'd sit toward the back of the rooms, and then we'd like start passing notes and drawing pictures, and we'd get laughing so hard we could, disrupt the class. Equinox and torrent are dangerous. On hard turning, the front wheel comes off the ground. Really? Well, see, the torrent I drove it just interstates. California. Well, I was in Yuma, Arizona, so it was California, up to Phoenix and back several times, up to Vegas, here, drove it here. I know I drove it to, I was going to say I drove it to somewhere in LA County, but I didn't. I parked it, and then Carl and I took his. That's where I got my Corvette. We trailered the Corvette from California. But yeah, I drove it mostly on interstates, just cruising along 70, 75. I didn't know they'd come off the ground. So GM added stainless steel rocker covers to the lower sides. Let's see. Only dad Skip got thrown in jail for knocking out a cop. Oh my God. I know a guy that hit a cop. He ended up in jail. Shouldn't beat on me. The guy that I knew that got thrown in jail, oh man, he was a drinker and just drunk, town drunk. He was over at my house. I was in my 20s. He was probably 40. And I caught him getting into some of my booze. I said, there's this stuff called akavit. It's a Norwegian made from caraway seeds. And I poured him a big glass, probably a 12-ounce glass. Here, you want some? Here, take this. So he was drinking that. And then he didn't drive because he didn't have a license anymore. Didn't need drunk driving. So he needed to ride somewhere. So I gave him a ride. And he still had that glass with him in the car. And he finished drinking it and left. He used to come around my shop all the time. Well, he didn't show up for days. And then he came in, big black eye and bruises. And he's cut up. I'm like, Danny, what happened to you? He goes, oh, I was drunk that night. And he goes, I smacked a cop. And he goes, then they put me in the ground. Hurt me. What do you expect? Oh, man. Never skipped a day in school. I skipped one day, not a day. I skipped one class in school. And the guy let me get away with it. I went to lunch with a girl that we weren't supposed to go off campus, but we snuck off campus. And then we had to sneak back in. And it was the class after lunchtime. And we were late, and wow, teacher cut me some slack. It was an electronics class, and again, I was way ahead there, and he let me get away with it. Only time I ever skipped school. Who are you? Okay, let's see. I can go to jail directly. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200. Man, remember that? Do not collect $200. I never made a full week of school if I could. Sorry, emoji alert. Here you go. Dean Stevenson's going to start with emojis. Emoji restriction. You know, he went the other night, I think, with only 4 of them. Here we go. Notes. Music notes. Yeah, Dean did that. The Who. Man, there's 2 The Who's. There's the Who.
I don't think most people know the other Who.
The Who, WHO, and then there's the Who, HU, which is pronounced Who, and it's a Mongolian band that is amazing. They do some really great rock stuff that also has some Mongolian kind of stuff, but they tour the U.S. and every time they do, they pack the places. So if you want some odd stuff, they're on YouTube. Look up the Who, H-U. And Who means human. They're the humans. And don't ask me how I learned to speak Mongolian. I don't. I speak a little bit, tiny bit. It's better for all of us. Excuse me. Okay. The Guess Who. Oh yeah, the Guess Who, the Who, and then the Who. H-U. Tell the judge you were defending yourself. Tell the judge you're defending yourself when you smacked a cop. It's probably not going to go well. Oh, Ponomaniac. You know about the Who, the H-U, Who? I didn't think many Americans knew that. But, you know, they were in Nashville. They packed that place, and I couldn't get a ticket. It was, I liked them. Years ago, but I don't know, before I met Kim. I knew a girl from Mongolia, and she kind of turned me on to the Who. So I really got into that. What are you looking at? What are you looking at? Oh, is that for Dean?
Yeah.
That's for Dean. Yeah, he likes those. You got 3 years probation. Well, probation. Yeah, I guess. I don't know. I don't. Throat singing Mongolians. Yeah, but they're a rock group, and yeah, they do some throat singing stuff in the rock. Yeah, it's amazing stuff. We have the Hoo Beatles here. Sounds like a long time for defending yourself. I got somebody yapping at me. What time is it anyway? Oh, we got 5 more minutes. Yeah. See, that's for Dean. The emojis. Oh, there he goes. Nice, thanks, Kimperdini. My wife is part Mongolian. Oh, that's how you know. Her brother has a place in Russian-controlled Mongolia. That would be what? Tuva? Is she from Tuva? Man, I always wanted to go to Mongolia, but Mongolia is in a real bad position right now because they got China on one side. Well, they've always been there. China and Russia, and they got nutcases running both of those. Mongolia is actually a pretty decent place. What is that? Oh, New York World's Fair. Yeah, wow, it's been 2 hours and we didn't talk about it.
We talked about everything.
Talking about just whatever comes up. I mean, you know, we could talk about putting a rear quarter panel on a 57 Ford, or we could talk about Mongolian rock groups.
Yeah, we talked about Dr. Art's project.
Dr. Art.
We talked about AMC, a lot about AMCs, and...
So she's part Genghis Khan.
Isn't everybody in Mongolia?
Genghis Khan. Oh, this girl I knew, you don't mind me talking about another girl, she says, you got to try some Mongolian beer. I said, yeah, I guess I'd try it. And she goes, they make it from milk, horse's milk. And I'm like, I don't know if I want beer made from horse's milk. Mongolian beef. You know, Mongolian beef here in the U.S. is... actually, that's a guy from Taiwan that came up with all that. Because Mongolian beef is... the real thing is kind of different. I don't know, I really got into Mongolian thing for a while because it was something I was interested in when I was a kid, because it's like some country out where you never get to go. So, of course, I was interested in it. But then, so I learned something. You have Inner and Outer Mongolia. The Russian side is good. And, see, there's an area that was Mongolia that was called Tanatuva. And now it's Tuva. It's where most of the throat singing is, the Tuvans. But that's part of Russia now. I mean, Russia... a lot of those people got sent to Ukraine to fight for Russia. It's kind of sad because Russia inducted a lot of people from those republics out in Siberia to go fight their war for them. It kind of sucks. So when you said that, I thought maybe she was from Tuva. Is that Tuvan? Is that Tuvan people?
How do you spell Tuvan?
Tuva.
T-U-V-A.
Tuva.
No
Or
N?
Tuvan, Tuvan, meaning the people from Tuva. Yeah, throat singing. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know where I don't know. He says there's Inner Mongolia and Outer Mongolia. The Russian side is good. It's just sad that Russia's a mess it is right now. See, I spent some time in Russia too, and it was good when I was there. I was as good as it ever got, but I wouldn't want to be there now. I was going to build a cheap pickup starting at 20 grand. Really? Does she have an expansions policy that makes St. Petersburg? Oh man. Yeah, I spent time in Russia around St. Petersburg and a small town called Tikhvin. It looks like Tikhvin. Tikhvin. I was out there, and Tikhvin is as far east as the Nazis got in World War II, and they weren't there very long, and it got too cold and they left, and they invaded the southern part of Russia, but that's as far as they got in the northern part. And I spent time in that town, and it was kind of interesting walking around there and looking at everything. Mugugai, what is that? I love that U.S. Royal Tire. Wrote it as a kid. Really? I remember we bought a Chevy van in 1965. My dad bought it, and it had U.S. Royal tires before they were called Uniroyal. U.S. Royal. And somewhere in the late 60s, they became Uniroyal. That's it. I like places where Siberian train goes. You know, I rode on the Russian train back in the 90s, and it was like something out of 1920s or 30s. But it was really interesting. Putin's pretty nasty about sending people he doesn't like to meet his. Yeah. Putin. Yeah, and he just got reelected.
Hey, those are fair and open elections.
Yeah, fair open elections, of course. See, I still have friends in Russia, and of course we can't talk to them. It's all over. I'm more a Uniroyal kind of guy. They're in Australia, the Uniroyal Wildcat. You know, tires. I always got. What are the ones I always buy now? Michelin Pilot Sports. Well, I can't buy those anymore because I don't have the money, but that's what I was buying. And those things, depending on what size they are, they're made in different places, different countries. See if you can find the Genghis Khan monument, and they're gonna. Oh, there you go. There you go. You already got it.
Look how big it is. Man, it's up there.
Yeah, he's reelected. Reelected probably for the rest of his life. Yeah, it's like he's getting old. He might die, but then he's about the same age I am. So, oh man. Siberia Express. Show your papers. I always wanted to take the Trans-Siberian Railroad, like in the 90s. I wanted to do that, but yeah, now I can't. I don't give people political advice. Foreigner. Yeah. Problem with Russia is I got friends there, and it's such a mess. You just all I got to do is make a call there. Now I'm a suspect, and I just can't do it. Re-erected. Yeah, yeah, in Russia, presidential contenders fall out of windows. Or what was the one? They put him in one a real secure prison.
Right, but the CIA still got him.
And then they killed him, and they blamed the CIA. So, wait a minute, you're saying the CIA was inside your most secure prison and killed this guy?
I mean, they're tricky. They are tricky like that.
I think they made that announcement before they thought it out. All the popular vote at gunpoint. My boss got to travel the whole way. He stopped over in Mongolia. Trans-Siberian does go down into Mongolia. You know what's weird about where it goes into Mongolia? They stop and they pull into this thing, and the Russian tracks are a wider gauge than the Mongolian and the Chinese tracks. So when they come into Mongolia, they jack the trains up and they change all the trucks out to the narrower gauge, and then they go into Mongolia and they go into China. It just seems like you would think they just take the people off and put them on a different train, but they change the trucks out. I think that's amazing. Use your friend's phone. I'm always thinking ahead. Yeah.
Well, they know who you are by your voice. You really think they don't know anymore?
I don't know. It's such a it's such a strange thing.
You can't get away with nothing.
Because what are we going to talk about? I mean, you know what you want to talk about, somebody in Russia, and that's the one thing they can't talk about. So you're just like, just stuck, you know. It's like,
how's the weather?
Someday it'll all settle down again, maybe. My wife was at the Chinggis horse statue 3 years ago. CIA 003. Yeah, CIA. Ex-KGB guy heard Mr. Anson talking, and he said, what do y'all think about that? Urus. What's he saying? What's Dizzy is he saying? Canada, Mexico, we're 20 to 25 years behind the rest of the world. You know, I still have the international calling on my... What is that? Oh, the Urus. What is that?
That's the Lamborghini pickup. Somebody mentioned it, so I pulled it up.
Oh my God. That's a good-looking truck. Well, what kind of engine? Has it got some weird Lamborghini stuff in it, or does it have something you can fix? Now I know what he's talking about. Oh, it's an SUV too? So there's a pickup and an SUV? Oh, I didn't even know about that thing.
Oh, that's like a...
Oh, that's a sketch. Find the real thing. You had the real thing up there. Needs more. The LM002, wasn't that the big herky one from like 15 years ago? Look at that. Oh man. It's not real, Buff. Look at the picture. It's a Ford F-150. Oh, it is.
Is it?
Okay, well, I'm in the way. I can't.
Does look a lot like a Ford
Urus
F-150.
pickup. Oh, okay. Now I get it. Man, you get me all excited. Oh, this car is useless. Poosh. Oh, look at that. That's the old one. Yeah, that's the 002. That thing, I remember that thing. You know, who was it? Who's the guy that does all the crazy stuff? I can't. Oh, that looks stupid.
Hey, Greg. See, look, this looks like a Subaru.
Doug DeMuro. Doug DeMuro, I don't know if any of you watched Doug DeMuro. I think he did a test on that Lamborghini, the one she showed him in at that 002. Yeah, I think he did a test on that thing.
It's a Eurobus.
Would I buy a new Lambo pickup? No. I'll build my own pickup someday. Don't buy European cars, especially. The only European cars I ever wanted, a couple of British sports cars. I like MGBs, especially the last few years with the big rubber bumpers. I like those. They had a nice dash on them. But they were still simple. I don't like the Volkswagen Beetle because of the way it looks, but I like the chassis, and I like, the kit cars you could put on them. The little dune buggy kit cars. But other than that, I really don't like European cars. I like the Trabant. What is that? The Trabant, because it's silly. It's an East German car with a 2-cycle engine in it. But no, I don't want European cars. My oldest son went out and bought a BMW. It's like, what are you doing? What are you doing? hideous. Which one's hideous? Both of them.
I mean,
Apocalypse Warlord truck.
oh yeah, this one.
What was that? Oh, Mexican Spec's going to take off. Adios, all. Animals want to eat. You know, we're getting toward, Wartburg. We're getting toward the end of our live here. The Wartburg is okay. The Trabant's the one I really like. The Trabant is just so goofy, little car, and they use some kind of resin and scrap cotton to make the fenders and make the body, you know. And that stuff, whatever they used, it lasted all this time. It puts up with the weather and it works, you know. Move that countach aside.
Good night, Mexican Spec.
Yeah.
Thanks for being here.
Yeah, thanks for being here.
We enjoy.
Well, what time is it? We're about ready to. It's 9:09. We're 10 past. We're 9 minutes past. So, I think we're about ready to go. Yeah, great use of cotton. And what is GRP? GRP, is that the stuff they used? I don't know. I've always wanted to know what that resin is. I've really searched it, and I don't know what the resin is they used. But you know, I did one layup here with cotton, and where is that piece?
Oh,
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
We have to
I
figure
did
that
one
stuff
with-
out beforehand, or I'll be
Buenos
digging.
noches. I did that with some old denim from jeans, and did a layup on both sides of a piece of foam, and it was quite strong. And you know how much money we had in it? Oh, glass reinforced plastic. Okay, yeah, it's normally glass, but you know they used cotton and some kind of a resin. Henry Ford made a hemp car body back in the 30s. Yeah, who was it he worked with that on? I've read about that. I knew about it, but I can't. You know, in World War II, they were trying to get people to grow hemp and supply you because they wanted it for rope. And then after World War II, they wouldn't admit they ever wanted anybody to grow hemp. Out of banana skins. Oh man, DuPont. Now it was who was the guy that Henry Ford worked with? Oh, I can't think of it. Maybe next year I'll think of it. Then Hearst and his boy at the Department of Justice. Oh, yeah. We could have hemp and then we couldn't have hemp. I don't know.
Guys, we
it's
put in
about time.
a live on Sunday, and now it's Tuesday, and I mean it's a lot of time and energy putting into this. But we thank you for being here. We have a great time. It's fun to interact with our friends instead of just putting out one-way content. This is really nice for us, and I know he loves it even more than I do. So we will continue to be here live as often as possible. Sunday nights when there's an opening, and Tuesday nights on a regular basis for the time being, foreseeable future that is.
And we may just do, if we're in the shop working, sometimes we just do an impromptu live. We just put it up, and whoever stops in watches us hammering, banging, using impact wrenches, whatever, and I talk. And
We're always trying to improve our setup here. I did some extra work so I could flick between screens a little more quickly. Hopefully it was a little smoother and interesting for you guys visually to watch, for those who are watching and not just listening. Thank you for so many comments and so much interest to keep us going. And we're going to call it there. So I'm sorry.
Night.
We'll talk about anything else you want to talk about next time. And thanks for watching.